want a single lady. I want a single lady.
No Bigfooters or Sasquatch were harmed during the filming of this video. Just their pride.
I rode across the creek on my horse and just sat over there. The creature makes a turn, slight turn with his shoulders and kind of looks back. That's when I rode across the creek on the horse. That's when it made that gesture. You see her make that famous turn like that to look at me when I got off the horse.
For those of you joining me for the first time, I roast, expose, and mock Bigfoot hoaxers, opportunists, con artists, and now gaslighters. Our esteemed Bigfoot loser of the hour is Steve Isdahl from Canada. Hey my little Squatch monsters, it's time to shake up the Bigfoot community. This is Off the Rictor.
It is not easy to constantly produce Bigfoot stuff.
Because I'm gonna film one today for you, I think. Maybe not physically like as we know it, but like where you could see it really good.
Oh boy, here we go. Make sure your seats are raised and tray tables locked in the upright position. This is a show where I roast Bigfoot attention whores and hoaxers and Bigfoot superstars. Like me.
Bigfoot is like cancer, in my opinion.
Did she just say Bigfoot's like cancer? Oh, honey. Bless her heart.
No. Bigfoot is not like cancer at all.
He looked like a Neanderthal man with a lot of hair. About 800 pounds. Massive.
God! Is everyone in Bigfooting a hoaxer?
Yes.
You want your Bigfoot video to be seen? Now's your chance.
You know, believe what you want. Believe what you want, run with it, find your evidence, get what you're doing. Just don't be a dick.
Oh, you haven't seen nothing yet.
Oh, God. Bad.
Let's be honest here, guys. I refuse to believe in Bigfoot. See? He just confessed! Ah! But I think it's real. Not because of these stupid white people making Bigfoot videos on YouTube. The truth with Sasquatch lies with the Native Americans. And it's my job to point out the Bigfoot.
Rocky Dingo.
I say, did you see last week's episode of Off the Rictor?
You'll have somebody forward you some email of some mindless inbred prick bitching about me in a video, and then I kind of want to drive over, find them, and punch them in the face. Just being honest is what it is. I don't give a shit what anybody thinks.
Dude, make up your mind, you Bigfoot loser.
And that's a fact.
Did he share with his viewers that he charges multiple thousands of dollars for these expeditions?
If you want to support this channel, I get a lot of people pounding. I will put a PayPal link in the bottom, and I will accept donations to keep this going. I do have to make a living, guys.
Shut up!
So we were just beginning the Bobby Short segment on the last Off the Rictor in part 2. Let's begin where we left off.
This is a personal email from Bobby Short. She's passed away. I know a couple of people who are pretty adamant that she was actually murdered.
She was my best friend. She was not murdered.
what this video is about today is about the honest truth that's been kept from all of you, from myself, from basically everybody for a long time.
Could you just imagine? Steve Isdahl is revealing the biggest truth in Sasquatch history, that a well-made hoax was really a Bigfoot massacre. All because he got some kind of email. Fascinating.
I've been contacted by numerous people for quite some time now, very, very credible people and very knowledge-filled people when it comes to the topic of these unknown beings that have been running around our forests.
Knowledge-filled? You moron, it's knowledgeable. Something tells me your great book of Bigfoot bullshit is gonna be an illiterate Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Still, as usual, Steve Isdahl doesn't cite his sources.
There's one thing, you know, we all got to stick together, and I think right now it's almost a classic example of good against evil.
Gaslighting, pure and simple. This is unacceptable in every shape and form, almost as bad as Russell Accord posing and parading around with his AR-15 during the biggest civil rights movement of our time. But I digress. I don't know what's worse. Brainwashing your followers to harm Bob Gimlin, Dr. Meldrum, and Cliff Barackman, or armed intimidation of fellow Americans. You decide.
I've been contacted from some people who were directly involved with all of the players when it comes to the Patterson Gimlin film. Okay? These are very good people, very good, honest people.
And the only two alive are Bob Gimlin and Bob Hieronymus. Next.
And these people were threatened, intimidated, discredited, and successfully, somewhat. And they have contacted me through physical mail.
Oh no, someone threatening someone in Bigfoot? Say it isn't so. Bitch, I get death threats.
I'm not scared. I'll fucking blow the motherfucker's brains out if I see him.
Next.
And the reason they've contacted me through physical mail is because their emails have been hacked.
Stop it with this government conspiracy to cover up a made-up Bigfoot lie. No one is hacking anything over something as stupid as Bigfoot. This isn't Bigelow funded, and you're not Bob Lazar being rated over his Element 115, Isdahl. I'm going to give you and your Politis, Davis, and Carpenter circle jerk a freebie. If there was any kind of a cover-up or conspiracy theory, look into Weyerhaeuser Timber. They own over 12 million acres of forest and manage 14 million acres in Canada. Money is the bottom line. Think, you stupid mother. And wear a face mask too.
And for all of you who think that your email is a secure place, well, sadly you're wrong. Email is not safe.
You mean to tell me that Nigerian prince doesn't want to hide his money in my bank account? When you sign up for social media, all your information is out there. Just ask David Paulides. When he went over to that far-right social media joke Parler, he told his Bigfoot following to do the same. Sorry, white nationalists, but all your Parler posts and information is now in the hands of the FBI. Is that because of Bigfoot? Could be.
The transition to Parler is because too many people I know of have been restricted by Twitter. Censorship on Twitter is fact. Be pretty concerning. And that's when I made the decision to leave.
Social media site Parler seems to have gone offline for good. The site touted itself as a Twitter alternative that allowed all kinds of speech and expression. The blackout comes after Apple and Google removed Parler from their app stores after Wednesday's riot at the U.S. Capitol, and Amazon removed Parler from its cloud hosting service. Amazon sent a letter to Parler executives reporting nearly 100 posts that clearly encourage and incite violence.
Don't tell me something about Parler that's not true, because I've already done the research.
I'm going to share this with all of you guys. And as you know, in the past, I've never ever asked anybody to share, like, or subscribe in my life, and I'm not going to. I've never invited anybody here once. I've never said subscribe, share, and like and all that other stuff. I've never said that once anywhere about this YouTube channel. if all of you would just share this story, share this video. Share my story at howtohunt.com.
Well, that was embarrassing. Hypocrite much? Let's get back to this mental circus of an overly imagined Bluff Creek Bigfoot massacre. Let's hear what the letter has to say.
Now, this is a private email between her and this great individual who has been mailing me using the post.
Anything you have to say about Bobby Short is null and void. However, I too have an email where she says, "Dear Rictor, Steve Isdahl is a Well, that I can believe."
On the subject of Bluff Creek, I am actually terrified to write all that I know. It would be another book, of course. Two of the principals are still alive and both have threatened me in different ways. Beyond that, John Green has threatened to ruin my reputation by discrediting and derision. He has in place well-known people that do that.
Well, I must confess, I am one of these dark bastards who's been hired by the governments of Canada and the United States to sabotage and discredit Bigfooters. John Green taught me everything. Look out! This Bigfoot homosexual is gonna get you and read you to filth.
In Z formation.
There is covert collusion between Canadian, British, USA governments where Bigfoot is concerned. The Sask are people. They are people living wild with families, known to all governments. They deserve rights, social security, numbers, and benefits. Governments have known about them for a very long time. Not only do I fear for myself, but my children and their families.
What was she afraid of? The men in black? The reptilians? Antifa? Russell Accord in a black hat? Now, I'm not saying Bobby Short didn't write that. She did subscribe to MK's massacre theory toward the end of her life, but that doesn't mean she was right. She got played. And now you guys are using her as some kind of weight to add to your false narrative.
No, what I have learned from numerous individuals is Mr. John Green has passed away, but apparently he was a bully. He was connected with some people that could be his strong arm for him, and he wasn't a good person. And I say that to you with absolute 100% confidence. The guy's a lying bastard. There you go, I said it. It's the truth.
Uh-oh. John Green is dead. Funny how the dead don't have the convenience of defending themselves from Canadian Cuberts who are using their name for clickbait videos. These four new horsemen of Bigfoot, Steve Isdahl, Scott Carpenter, MK Davis, and David Paulides, have a lot to learn from a man like John Green, who contributed more to Bigfoot in and its possibility of being real than any of these back alley abortion survivors.
The Patterson Gimlin film strip goes, I have spoken eye to eye with people who have seen the missing footage. And the missing footage has items in there, including that being the female walking along the riverbank. There's footage there of her digging with a stick in blood-soaked sand trying to get her infant out, which they had killed and buried.
You cannot be for real. Oh my God, you for real? No, you for fake. No, you for real.
And they killed a few of these beings during that moment.
You not?
First of all, there's no missing footage of that hoaxed Patterson film. No Bigfoot was digging up a dead infant. It was a big, elaborate hoax to make money and be put in movie theaters, which Roger Patterson did. If there was some kind of slaughter involving covert, nefarious, powerful government agents, would they allow Patterson to release that film? Think, you stupid prom night bathroom fetus. It has and always will be about making money. If there was footage of Bigfoot digging up a dead baby in the sand, Patterson would have exploited that to hell and gone. No wonder people think the earth is flat. It's because of dumb motherfuckers like you. Ask Stephen Strufert of Bigfoot Books in Bluff Creek if there was an imaginary massacre. Ask Danny Perez, who writes that Bigfoot Times gossip newsletter, if there's any evidence whatsoever of missing footage. You might as well say Bigfoot gave you a reach around. It's just as true, if not more so.
Anyway, what I am right now is I am the messenger. Maybe a little bit more of a messenger, but I am playing the messenger role right now. I'm sharing to you the facts. I'm sharing to you what's been shared with me.
Those are the facts? Man.
Those are the facts. And this is just a little hint of
of what is floating around.
You're the biggest idiot that ever descended from a World War II bomber's left testicle. He makes my stomach turn. Can you imagine going out on a date with him? All he would do is talk about himself.
As far as the being scared thing, I don't understand it myself. I guess I don't have any children.
Thank God. This Darwin Award ends here.
There is a handful of people out there who don't get intimidated and would rather go all in to provide the truth and expose the lion, the evil side.
Do you hear how he's mentally manipulating you? It's in his speech pattern. We covered this in great depth in part 2. Good versus evil. All in. Expose the evil side. Who are all these people who will go all in? Bring it. Let's see this Bigfoot white nationalist party. Oh wait, they're too busy raiding the Capitol. What Russell Accord calls just a building. Just a building. Shame on you.
I want you to stir the pot so fiercely that this topic gets blown completely out of the water and people start getting nervous.
Girl, I am the biggest pot stirrer in the world of Bigfoot. And tonight, I'm having you over for dinner. I eat Bigfoot egos like you for breakfast. This is an easy show to do, to expose you and your lies for my benefit. And I thank you.
And I actually enjoy it. Eliminate this thing where it's okay to instantly call each other liars and laugh in people's faces when it comes to this topic, because it's absolutely wrong.
Bitch, you can't eliminate.
Crikey dingo.
Stop whining. Makes you look like a
pussy. If you want to support this channel, I get a lot of people hounding. I will put a PayPal link in the bottom, and I will accept donations to keep this going. I do have to make a living, you guys.
First of all, the audacity. Second, asking people for money for your Bigfoot
Crikey dingo.
and gaslighting while attacking others who are doing it based on their own TV fame is despicable. This is right out of the Art of the Deal book, the Bigfoot edition. Donald Isdahl, you are the biggest narcissistic hypocrite in the world of Bigfoot, Steve Isdahl. This motherfucker says that his viewers are hounding him to support him.
Get a lot of people hounding. I will put a PayPal link in the bottom.
So he's going to give them what they want by providing a PayPal link in his video's description. Then he says, I do have to make a living, guys. What's the truth? So in a nutshell, today, my little Squatch monsters, we learned about psychological manipulation and what Bigfoot losers will do for fame and money. Steve Isdahl, you're a sellout. Get a job.
Give till it hurts. Hallelujah.
Obviously, it's not my sole motivation. Otherwise, I would have been selling you guys shit a long time ago.
And then he says he doesn't sell merchandise. Then what the hell is this?
And as far as t-shirts and hats go, I had that going before I was doing this.
And who puts their picture on a Bigfoot book? What an ego. God, is everyone in the world of Bigfoot a hypocrite?
Yes.
You know what, Steve Isdahl? You are exactly what the Bigfoot world deserves. There is nothing wrong for you as a con artist to make money off of these people's beliefs. Jim Baker, Joel Osteen, Jimmy Swaggart, and Kenneth Copeland all do the same exact thing, except they promise a spot in heaven. What kind of Bigfoot covenant is Steve Isdahl going to give you?
I'm getting attacked nonstop on various Facebook Sasquatch pages, apparently.
Gee, I wonder why.
In the Sasquatch group, all they're focusing on is they don't like the way I talk. And then about 12 other people chime in to how I talk.
This is why, you dumbass. Words matter.
Sometimes I gotta watch my language. Well, I'd definitely be lying if I said I wasn't sore today.
Why? You're the one that's f***ing us here, but then you're how big?
About that big. Man, if you come across somebody, a so-called well-known face, and they're actually attempting to charge you money to either A, take a selfie with them.
He's talking about finding Bigfoot TV stars like Bobo and Cliff Barrickman. Bigfoot is big business. I have said that hundreds of times on my show. And as you should know, Steve Isdahl, you make more money than the average Bigfoot hoaxer with your YouTube channel. And for those of you curious as to how much Steve Isdahl makes, it is public knowledge on the internet. Go to socialblade.com and type in the facts by howtohunt.com, unquote, just like that. And it'll blow you away. It'll make you wish that you were a Bigfoot hoaxer just like he is. And by the way, Bob Gimlin never charges for a photo.
Or they think they can charge you money for an autographed photograph of themselves? Walk away. Or kick them in the nuts and walk away.
Oh, does that mean you want to kick me in my nuts, Steve? No. See, this is the part where I, in my reach around with you, I play with your nuts. If I could find them.
These bad people have got a big kick in the nuts coming.
I think you have a thing for nuts. More than me. Oh, but I bet mine are bigger though. Here, let me show you.
Oh yeah!
You should have thrown your boot into his nutsack too, actually. And if it's not too late, maybe go back and do that.
First of all, who talks like that? And second, here he goes again, repeating and repeating and repeating himself. Donald Isdahl, we are on to you. We get it.
If you ever go to any kind of a convention or a gathering when it comes to this topic, and if you come across anyone who actually expects you to give them money for a photograph of their face, or you come across anyone who attempts to charge you money to take a selfie with them, they are screaming in your face that they do not give a shit about you and they see you as an opportunity.
Either this man has a diminished capacity up here, or he knows exactly what he's doing. I will tell you this, my little Squatch monsters, Isdahl is not stupid. The Washington Post posted this on Donald Trump's behavior. Steve Isdahl does the exact same thing. Isdahl is always selling. He's selling himself just like Donald Trump did.
You know, just so you know too, I don't get fired up about people attacking me. I really don't. You know, a bunch of you forwarded me that cartoon the other day.
Why does everything have to be an attack? Why can't something just be a joke? Like this stunning masterpiece of a drawing I made. Instead of Bigfoot, I should have drawn a rode up hard and put up wet gerbil. Steve, can you please tell us who are these cast of characters that I drew?
Dave Pilates, Scott Carpenter, M.K. Davis.
And guess who's getting corked by Bigfoot?
That apparently the character that made the cartoon was quoted as doing the dirty work.
All right, we're doing
Dirty work. Anal sex isn't dirty. Well, one time at band camp, Russell Accord had tacos for dinner, and that was enough to scare me straight.
Of that guy who's controlling and promoting the old guy. I'm not going to say his name, so I'm not going to help promote that dumbass.
Old guy, why do you have a problem with Bob Gimlin? You have never met him.
But just so you know, I got that cartoon and it was pretty funny. You got to admit, the guy's pretty talented at making cartoons, but it doesn't rile me up the slightest, obviously.
Good, because it wasn't meant to make you pissy poo-poo. It was drawn as a joke. And you will never think of David Pilates the same ever again. I've had more straight guys tell me I can't take my eyes off his ass. The Butt Creek Massacre masterpiece is a sister piece to my Matt Moneymaker Finding Bigfoot portrait, which to this day is the best thing I have ever drawn. Hands down.
They're all they are. I mean, think about it. If you actually allow yourself to get worked up and react from reality TV people, come on, man. Reality TV and the people that are on those shows are about that big.
Funny how you would kill to be in our shoes for an opportunity like that, or even approach Netflix. I just saw a video of you begging Joe Rogan to be on his podcast. He would mop the floor with you, Sally.
Joe Rogan, all of us, can't even reach as big as we are, okay?
What is this? Some kind of schoolyard pissing contest? Even that lunatic Michael Merchant stands above you for being on my reality show. Now that is embarrassing.
I'm gay! Footprints. All right, I believe, I'd have to look back in some books, but I believe one of the first footprints found and actually had the dermal ridges cast in them, or possibly in the late 50s, if not the 60s for sure. There's your evidence.
Wait a minute, are you talking science? Because this is what you said about science when it comes to Bigfoot.
Science and me have nothing for each other.
Do you even know what you're talking about?
And why do I say F science? Because science has directly told us to go F ourselves when it comes to this topic, many others. Tracks are facts.
Tracks are proof that someone made them. You can't say it's Bigfoot until there's data saying it's Bigfoot. Until then, it's all hypothesis. You, sir, are the weakest link.
Tell me if I'm wrong.
You're wrong.
They've had people who have studied footprints and bone structures in hominids for years. You can't mimic that.
And whom would that be? Funny how you tear down Dr. Meldrum and then use him and his work on a fictional creature just to further your YouTube clout.
The only thing I can do is deliver the honest truth to anybody who wants to hear it.
Reading ambiguous and anonymous emails isn't truth, you dumb.
I'm writing you today, not to tell you a story of an encounter, but of my own encounter with self-proclaimed BF research Cliff Barackman.
Reading an email doesn't make it fact. Someone can email me and tell me you're a wanted Chester. It doesn't make it real. Stop using emails as some form of cascading truth. Stop underestimating your audience. Yes, Bigfooters are stupid, and yes, they're 6th grade educated at best, and yes, they worship their guns. Their effort to keep the truth from being revealed to all of you.
Their effort to keep the truths from being revealed to all of you.
Gaslighter. Here, let me show you what truths are being revealed to all of you.
The founding of the North American Bigfoot Center was kind of a natural extension of my career in general. I was an elementary school teacher for 14 years before I was grabbed up by Discovery Networks and put on that TV show on Animal Planet. So after the show ended, it seemed to me like, well, I love museums, I love the subject, I love educating the public. It seems like the NABC, the North American Bigfoot Center, was a natural extension and a natural next step for my career.
That is probably the single-handedly best and most professional thing anyone has ever made in the world of Bigfoot. In fact, Sasquatch doesn't deserve that outstanding level of dedication. What have you done, Steve Isdahl? This Bigfoot book, clearly written by a 5-year-old?
My first question, and actually only question, is I could not get a word in edgewise, was, what are your thoughts on the Melba Ketchum study, and why is no one addressing this properly? He immediately shut me down and vehemently, almost aggressively, told me his views on Miss Ketchum and her study. He made false accusations, accusing her of claiming that angel DNA was part of a report, which I challenged, as I have read the study, and nowhere in there are those words contained.
I don't have time to deal with a fraudulent, creationist-based, biased Sasquatch genome study, but I will give you this in a nutshell.
It doesn't match anything. It's novel, it's new, there's nothing to compare it with.
The DNA tested was human, bear, and canine. Read geneticist Dr. Haskell Hart's book, Who Did the DNA Work? He is a Harvard-educated doctor, which knocks Dr. Ketchup for Brains down a notch. Read Haskell's book, The Sasquatch Genome Project, a failed DNA study. It explains Dave Paulides and Scott Carpenter's involvement in this pretend creationist science. After reading the foreword, it then makes sense. This dimwit in Canada is being used as their sounding board to further their Bigfoot Trump propaganda. Birds of a feather flock together. Steve Isdahl, you've been played, buddy.
The bottom line is the study is what it is, whether science likes it or not.
And in regards to that veterinarian Melba Ketchum, know that she was rejected by every single science peer review out there. She created her own peer review called De Novo a week before she released her paper, so she could profit off it. Trust real, peer-reviewed, and globally accepted science, not religious faith-based Scott Carpenter's, Melba Ketchum's creationist, Bigfoot isn't a part of the tree of life.
Since we don't fit in the tree of life with these animals in a convenient way, scientists say, well, it has to be contaminated. These samples are not contaminated because there are ways to test this. We are forensic laboratories. We deal with contamination on a daily basis.
Make-believe science. Ugh.
But some of these douchebags, like the ones we're gonna talk about right now, the damage they do to very good, credible people who have actually got lifelong careers, and they go out of their way to destroy these careers only because of their own personal agendas and, for whatever reason it is, their effort to keep the truths from being revealed to all of you.
So yes, she should lose her career. It's her own damn fault. And another thing, you reading an email about a woman complaining about a difference of opinion with Cliff Barrickman carries what kind of weight? Shut the hell up, you David Paulides wannabe.
There's nothing worse than a bully, right? There's nothing worse than a sack of bully.
You're right, especially an uneducated one.
Every single popular name, less maybe 3 or 4 in the so-called Bigfoot Sasquatch communities attacked me, tried to discredit me somehow, told me I'm doing bad things.
You are doing bad things, Stephen, and I have effectively presented my case clearly in 3 episodes so far dedicated to your gaslighting, narcissism, and outright lying. You, sir, are a fraud, a hypocrite on gigantopithecus proportions.
The only thing I can do is deliver the honest truth to anybody who wants to hear it.
There is no honest truth in Bigfoot. It's all opinions. There is 0 data on Sasquatch. Just a battle of personal beliefs. That's it. It's always has been, and it will always be. Now, what you're about to hear is Steve Isdahl using his late veteran grandfather as some kind of credible leverage that establishes his position as an authoritative figure on what is true or not in Bigfoot. Damn.
You want to get somebody's attention, have your grandfather tell you he wants to share a story with you about the Sasquatch. My grandfather flew a bomber in that war for all of you guys, for the whole planet, and he died being scared of ridicule from the very people he was going to protect. And that is so wrong on all levels, and that is 100% my fuel.
Wait, you said your grandfather died being afraid of being ridiculed over Bigfoot. Even your own family isn't safe from your unabashed disrespect and YouTube clickbait monetization. You're selling out your whole family, man, over some kind of Bigfoot nonsense. You're positioning yourself using your family to further your argument. That tells me all I need to know about what kind of a loathsome human being you are.
He said, I looked down the creek and this man is squatting over the creek. And he says, well, that man got up and took one look at me and took off running faster than any human being, every man could ever run.
Steve, keep that in mind when Bob Gimlin is telling his story about Bigfoot. He's someone's grandfather, and unlike yours, he's not dead. With a bastard grandchild using his good name as a way to get clicks on YouTube. That's right, bitch. I went there. Come on.
Why didn't you tell me this before? Why not? And the poor guy, he said flat out, he goes, yeah, if I told you I saw a 8-foot tall, 600-pound, hairy, naked guy in the woods, you'd never go fishing with me again. You'd think I was insane.
I think you're insane. Maybe Grandpa Pal wanted to mess with you. Now that I can believe. Because I would prank your ass so hard, your little politis in your shorts would spin around 411 times. I can't say that with a straight face. I'm sorry. Because I would prank your ass so hard, your little politis in your shorts would spin around 411 times. I got through it.
His word is solid as frickin' titanium. If that man says he saw what he saw it. And he saw it clearly. And there's nothing else, there's no other variation of that.
Great story. I think the joke is on you because Grandpa Pal was either pranking you, lying, delusional, or a victim of pareidolia. Or maybe he was trolling you, or maybe telling you the truth. We will never know. How do we even know you're telling the truth, Steve? We don't. And we have no reason to believe you because you're a
liar, a coward, and basically a pussy. And the reason they've contacted me through physical mail is because their emails have been hacked.
Well, I have a letter written to me from your late grandfather. It's true. It says, "Dear Rictor, my grandson is a gun sucker. You two should get on quite well." Well, I do have a big gun. Fully loaded. Want to see? I'm Italian. You're Canadian. Don't even try, honey.
I came across some knowledge I didn't know existed. I was angry at myself for not knowing about this knowledge, and I wanted to gain more knowledge and get better.
However, here you are, once again, contradicting yourself and implying you found out about Bigfoot 5 years ago. You sure don't look like you're 31 years old there, Stephen. If your grandfather told you about Bigfoot when you were 26, that would make you 31 since you say you found out about Bigfoot 5 years ago. You see, my little Squatch monsters, hoaxers have to remanufacture their stories over time. When he says he has an experience, then that is no longer good enough, especially for clickbait videos. He has to go back and add more to it, like including his late grandfather, who was a decorated World War II veteran. Steve Isdahl knows his low IQ audience well enough that these claims will put him in an unquestioned category. Therefore, you must respect him. It's the abuse of authority to lend credibility to an anecdote.
Since my first encounter with these things, now years later, I look back at when I was 18 or 17 when I saw that thing perched up on that rock looking down on me. It started about 5 years ago, and I came across some knowledge I didn't know existed. I was angry at myself for not knowing about this knowledge.
He can't say he just found out about Bigfoot. It has to be about his whole life searching for this. Think of it this way. It's the same idea that we know aliens are real because Buzz Aldrin said they're real, even though he never said that. Urban myths uses the supposed experiences of someone else to make their claims irrefutable. That's why Steve Isdahl uses these emails as a prop. It's disinformation bias, the tendency to accept supportive evidence of a belief uncritically, but to actively refute or discount evidence that challenges that belief.
I was screamed at about, about a mile that way. Last spring, I think. I was very screamed at, but I heard that bellowing voice ripping out of the timber. And it was within the first half hour of light. I was up on a cliff looking across the draw to the next slope of never before logged timber.
So what's the truth, man? You see, my little Squatch monsters, hoaxers always fuck up their stories. Justin Smea did it right in front of me on Bigfoot Bounty.
So I shot it. And we look over and we see two little ones, maybe about yay high. So I shot it in the neck. Didn't die right away, but it died.
Yeah, I think I've had maybe another half a dozen experiences with these things.
Yeah, I call. If Sasquatch is real, I doubt you'll be here proselytizing like this, since you claim to be some great hunter. You would capitalize on it. You would find it and shoot it. Don't kid yourself or underestimate the limited intellect of your Bigfoot audience. You're a liar and a hoaxer. And how do I know? Simply because Bigfoot is not real. Peter Byrne spent his entire life out in the woods, never saw a Bigfoot. The late Bigfoot researcher Rene DeHinden never had an encounter. And these men had a bigger pair than you could ever dream of having. A pair being character and integrity, which you don't have.
I'm definitely not one of those douchebags from the BFRO who wants to look for a potential new place to take people in charge of money. Thought I heard something, but anyway, I'm just over aware of myself and my surroundings in the middle of nowhere, full time.
Now, I promised you guys in the last episode that I was going to go over this literary piece of garbage, but you'll just have to wait for the next episode. Part 4 will be the last part in our special series of episodes dedicated to this great Canadian hoaxer of the North. Instead, I want to address the comments that Steve Isdahl has made about me. Yes, that toxic masculine micro hockey puck for a brain has addressed me. At long last, my life is complete. I have achieved greatness. This is not the first time he has indirectly mentioned me, as stated earlier in my artwork, but it's so obvious. So let's play this rebuttal to my Off the Rictor show. He says some pretty off-the-wall.
Rocky Dingo.
I see it almost as the researchers, the majority of the researchers to this particular group are very similar to previous Hollywood starlets or stars were to that Weinstein creep. It's the exact same thing.
What?
That fat, ugly prick.
You're equating Harvey Weinstein to Matt Moneymaker?
Your career, you basically had to let that fat, greasy bastard rape your ass, right? Take advantage of you any way he could.
Matt Moneymaker's not a rapist, you f***ing son of a bitch!
That are staying in tight with this freaking nasty group. A handful of people will try to notify me of certain names of people who are trying to, they're making videos and attacking me.
That's me!
If you haven't noticed, you never mention people's names. And if you don't ever mention their names in the comment section below
because you don't want your followers to hear the truth about you.
They would probably be doing backflips and celebrations if I ever mentioned their names publicly. Right?
I know this rubs you the wrong way. You're a narcissist. I know.
I see them as probably potentially suicidal.
I'm suicidal?
They are having a hard time at life, and they're priding themselves in being publicly miserable and attacking people. It is what it is. But just so you know, it doesn't do anything to me, ever. Okay, you guys?
Sure. Then explain this video.
Currently, I know for a fact that a couple members of a certain reality TV show, they have a person out of Las Vegas, I believe, going way out of his way, basically commissioned him to assault me and a few other prominent names when it comes to this topic. Why? I don't know why. Why would they do that? Do you know why? I don't know why. Be handy to find out why, wouldn't it? I don't give a what anybody thinks. I don't give a what anybody watching this video thinks. It doesn't matter. You'll have somebody forward you some email of some mindless inbred prick bitching about me in a video, and then I kind of want to drive over, find them, and punch them in the face.
That's me. What?
Being honest,
I thought you said you didn't care.
If you play into it and openly complain about them with their names anywhere, you're promoting them. And that's exactly what a handful of them, how they screwed up with me. There's a handful of people that
I screwed up with you?
With my content.
Bitch, your ego. My God, I don't give two shits about screwing up. What do you have to offer me?
Dumbasses were, they promoted me non-stop.
Promoting you, yeah. You're talking about me to your audience of over 186,000 followers. Who's the winner here? You stupid mother...
With How to Hunt Outdoors Limited full time. Right?
I know for a fact you're pissed off. I know for a fact you're annoyed as all get out. For you to even acknowledge me and these videos criticizing you about what you're saying and what you're doing to your audience of over 186,000 followers. You're so stupid. Bravo. See, my little Squatch monsters, I've told you from the very beginning, Bigfoot hoaxers are stupid.
the BF joke organization. It's the head, whoever controls that website, whoever controls all the main data that comes into the website, whoever controls what people hear, has absolutely sleazed and attacked dozens of good people, taken advantage of dozens of good people.
He keeps repeating himself in his videos about how he feels about Matt Moneymaker and the BFRO. Regardless of your opinion, even if I agree that the BFR is a fraud, it doesn't make it so. But, like I mentioned earlier, how he has to keep regurgitating and remanufacturing his bull, he takes his rhetoric to a whole new level here. Listen to what this little says.
When you have a platform that can potentially successfully manipulate the planet, and you use that platform to cause divide with a real big effort, and you knowingly cause divide, hatred, and anger non-stop every chance you get in front of that camera, that should be punishable by jail.
As much as I make fun of the great Moneymaker, I would never call him that. Words matter, you idiot. You will eventually lose your YouTube channel and your monetization for the things you say. It is in your nature.
No Nazi-like control freak lion pricks like the head of the BFRO who takes experiences that people finally get up the guts to share.
Just when I was starting to agree with this Canadian gaslighting Cubert, he goes and says something like this. You cannot equate Matt Moneymaker to a Nazi. Do you even know what the word even means? I don't think you do because you're against education.
Mainstream media, news sources are the enemy. If not even just the entire educational system is probably the enemy as well.
Moneymaker will continue to make money off the BFRO regardless of your unprofound rhetoric.
But anyway, as far as these idiots go and the money they're reaping and raping and taking from innocent people.
Raping. Bigfoot celebrities are raping innocents. Let me tell you what rape is, Steve Isdahl, since you use it so freely to describe something you consider to be of the same evil. Rape is when you're dating a guy who is much bigger than you, who holds you down on his bed, and you tell him no, to stop, and that you're not ready. He ignores you and penetrates you without a condom on, and he says in your ear, I just gotta f***. No matter what you do, you can't get him off of you, and you're still pinned down, and then he ejaculates into you, and then for years afterward, you walk around with some kind of overwhelming shame, and then you don't tell anyone about it because you're afraid to, and you're afraid that you're going to be made out to be some kind of lesser man. That and the fear of not knowing that you caught HIV or not. So continue on equating what Bigfoot celebrities are doing with your chosen raping vernacular. Words matter, you stupid motherfucker.
Words are things, I'm convinced. You must be careful about the words you use, or the words you allow to be used in your house. In the Old Testament, we are told in Genesis that in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God, and the Word was with God. That's in Genesis. Words are things. You must be careful. Careful about calling people out of their names, using racial pejoratives and sexual pejoratives and all that ignorance. Don't do that. Someday we'll be able to measure the power of words. I think they are things. I think they get on the walls. They get in your wallpaper. They get in your rugs, in your upholstery, in your clothes, and finally into you.
Is Bigfoot real? Do we have any data about that? As far as DNA evidence, we don't have any. I have tested hundreds and hundreds of samples, and either they're synthetic, they have no DNA in them, or they're bears, deers, pigs, dogs, people, whatever. I've seen no credible DNA evidence. The so-called Melba Ketchum study, published in a fake journal that she herself created just days before, actually, looking at the data, as Haskell, Hart, and others have done, have demonstrated that there's nothing in that study that would make anybody believe that there is such a beast out there.
On the next Off the Rictor.
When a grown man says to you, oh, did you hear about so-and-so? They're putting gerbils up their asses.
Now we're talking. This is the good shit.
I think you're smoking hot and sexy and I want to put a guinea pig up your ass.
The guy is crazy.